Pepsi.
We're going to get those together.
Yeah. Pepsi Max.
Good to go with one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Abby. Do you just simply give us your thoughts going into this one?
No, I think like before, we are doing things. I think the team is performing a little bit more stable and better every game now and every training week because of the competition we have inside the squad. The players look fresh and ready for a new game, and it's nice to play at home. We know the Kilimarnock it's a good team. They are stable, have a good manager in Derek, and it's going to be a tough game, but we feel really ready and prepared.
Does it feel like a corner's been turned now? So you've got the two back-to-back wins. Does it feel like you've turned that corner now?
I think you always have to be focused on the next game, whatever happened in the past, and but I feel like we talked about it before the wins. Like the team is performing a little bit more stable, and that's the key part for us. Like be consistent into the games, and also because of some of the injuries, more players are coming back. The competition is the intensity of everything is going higher on the training sessions. Also, more players available. And that also help us to achieve the goals we have with this team and the way we want to play, and more players are fresh in that case also because we can help each other, support each other during the season. So in that point everything looked much better than it did for some weeks ago.
And just in terms of the mood around the place, obviously I'm like myself no longer going to be asking you about winless runs and all that kind of thing. Hopefully not anyway. But has the mood lifted around the place?
Of course, it's always nice to win games, but I have to say also in the difficult time we have a strong mentality in this club, and everybody is supporting each other, and the drive was always there, even if the wins didn't come. So everybody was pushing, but of course you saw the smile on the place when you win the last game, and our supporters. It's always nice to win games. That's why we are competing. So of course it helps, but I think it's really strong characters and strong mentality inside the club, even in the difficult times. That the goal is still in front of us, and we try to achieve something together. And the struggling part of the season don't make us lose the direction. We're still aiming for the same thing, and still we are there in the competition. So we have to keep pushing now and keep working hard and try to achieve the points and the wins.
You're talking about competition for places in the group now. You've obviously got Jamie back. Wiley's been out. Every time Ross has come in, he hasn't really done anything wrong. How big a kind of dilemma do you face in terms of who you're going to play in goal with both of them fit?
I think for me it's like again the competition is healthy. We have good players. That's what you need during a season, because it's a long season, it's many games, and for me it's not a dilemma. It's only positive that we have a strong competition inside in the goalkeeper position, in the centre backs, in the full backs, everywhere on the pitch. It's important for everyone to stay sharp and keep that hunger all the time. So decision is made every week in every game, so it's nothing new for us to make the decisions when we have to, and we're always going to choose the team we think is the best chance to start the game to give us the result. And then, but still, is many games left to play. We have a lot of games now ahead of us, and also already on Tuesday. So let's see who's going to start. But it's good that everybody's back, more or less.
You're back up to third place now. The challenge sounds simple, doesn't it? To stay there.
Nothing has changed from the beginning of the season. We're trying to arrive to Europe next season, and that's what we're still working for. And still in the long term, we're trying to be a stable team in Europe. So we have to, but we also know we still have to grow. We still have to be better. We have a lot of things to improve, but we're still in the race and we're still in the competition. It's still many games left, and a lot is quite tight in the table. So we have to be sharp in the short term every week, and we stay humble for the hard work we need to do. Is we can't take any game, especially when you have this run we have. We know it's tough. So nothing has changed in that way. But so far we are there, and we have to keep pushing for that.
Team news
Uh, how- I think Esther and Dante and Jack Milne trained with the team today, also in the game, so that's good. So let's see when they are back to compete for a position inside the squad. But at least they're training now with the team on the pitch. That's good.
But obviously this game and the games over the next 7 days.
I think like at least it's difficult to say, but around maybe 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah.
Jimmy, you mentioned being back in third spot. How important is it to you that you keep Aberdeen in that position?
I think it's important for. We know it's a tough competition, and it's many teams around there, so we know we can't. But from the beginning of the season, our goal for this season was to try to arrive to Europe, and still our eyes on that position. So it's important for everyone, but we need to work hard. We need to keep improving. We need to keep stable in our performances. So I think if that's your goal, that's what you have to aim for, and that we're still doing.
Do you feel that the new faces that you've brought in January, do you feel they're starting to find their feet around the club, and that's possibly helped you to turn the corner and keep this going?
I think like every season has their challenges, and sometimes you get some injuries at the same time or whatever. So for me, it's important to have a squad that we can keep so many as possible ready to play, and also in a good match form. And I think the players do really well, because some of the players come also from a pre-season, and some of the players are in the second season, and some is coming back from some injuries. So how they behave and how professional they are and prepare themselves to go straight in a new team, a new club, and compete, they're doing really well, and that helps us to be more stable as a team, and also with the skills we raise the competition inside the squad, and that's raised the level of every player, because everybody, they know the training is so important, to be available and perform and to grow, to also be available for the match squad and then play the games. So for us, it's the more stronger the competition is better for everyone. Everybody, the individual player has to increase the level. I don't think it's good decisions to make who's going to start the game. And you also sometimes in difficult times when it's a lot of games, you can also keep the standard and the level of the team when you have to change players. So for us, it's good that players are arriving.
How much of a roller coaster has it been for you since taking over the job? So obviously you had that brilliant run, and then the winless run, and then back to it again now, and hopefully you can continue that.
It's not so much roller coaster actually. It was up and then we're down. So no, but I think like for me it's the season in May what matters, and then it's a journey to arrive there in that position, and also have the long term how we want to be in the future, and decisions you have to make in the windows, or how we train and the intensity we want to play with. So it's a lot of things in the long term, but also in the short term. Our strategic decision hasn't changed during the whole season. We're still aiming for the long-term thing, but of course, when things happen and results come, you have to adjust the short-term decision-making. But I'm really happy with how they're also working with the club with the recruitments, because we believe in the players arriving here also for the long term. So I think it's, and also when you have a feeling, not exactly why you don't win, but what we need to improve. Even when we maybe win a lot of games, maybe we should have lost someone, and also when we lose some games, maybe we should have won someone. So the performance has been okay, but we want more, and also in which areas we want to improve. And it's quite similar things that happen in some of the games, like we need to do better, and still we need to be humble. It's just now we won a cup game and a league game, so we're still there. It's still we have to. The game tomorrow is really important for us to see that we are stable again and can win and perform well at Pittodrie. But I feel the energy because of less injuries, players coming back, some more players from outside, so it's more energy and more so I think the roller coaster hasn't been so much because we have to be quite calm and stable. We know what we need to do and what we have to do. So the focus has been on that, not get involved in the roller coaster emotions that come with working in a football club. And that's the good thing also, that there is a lot of emotions in the football club. But we who working in it has to be stable in our focus, and so we can take good decisions.
Thank you.
Jimmy, I just wanted to ask about Adam Emsley. Obviously, he done really well in his loan spell at Cove, but was recalled. What was the thoughts behind the recall, and what's the plans for him going forward?
Let's see what's going to happen in the nearest future with him. But it's good also to get to see him in our environment, because we also have decisions to make for the future in the summer. And it's good for him to also be training with us, and we also have a spot there. And let's see now when some players are coming back, how we're going to proceed with this part.